Yo, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? And welcome to another Ringside Roundup here on the channel. This is the third Ringside Roundup we've ever done on the channel. So far, it's been pretty fun, man. Really enjoying like the rebranded version of just the recaps and, you know, news that we talk on the channel. But in today's topic of Ringside Roundup, man, we are going to be discussing this week's episode of Smackdown. So for the week of January 30th, 2026, we are covering that episode of Smackdown. But as always, before we get anywhere to any videos, help your boy out by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications so you never miss an upload. Go follow the socials. Links to those will be found in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account. And as always, when we do cover stuff on these Ringside Roundups, I give my thoughts, and at any point in the video, you guys come down in the comments below and leave me your thoughts, whether that's debating my thoughts, leaving your thoughts in general as mentioned, or if you want to just leave your thoughts on anything that you feel about the world of professional wrestling in general. Do all that down in the comments below. Now let's get you guys straight into today's Ringside Roundup. All right, so we would kick off this episode of SmackDown with an absolute freaking bang, man. So we would start it off with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes make his way down the ring. Man, these freaking fans in Riyadh tonight were freaking loud, just like they always are. Freaking amazing freaking crowd, man, so far tonight. But Cody Rhodes comes on down. He talks a little bit about Drew McIntyre and Fatu. Kind of just tells McIntyre, you're the new champion. You got what you wanted, but yet now you're not here. You're not representing the brand. This is the easiest thing to take advantage of, buddy. You've dropped the ball. So pretty much just telling McIntyre he's pretty much a terrible champion. He's a terrible leader, and he's terrible at what he's supposed to be doing, basically. So just shitting on McIntyre a little bit there. But then he gets down to business. He talks about what's next, what's actually next tomorrow, because tomorrow is the Royal Rumble. So he talks about the next biggest thing that is, on the calendar, and that is the Royal Rumble, as mentioned. So talks a little bit, kind of just says that, that obviously he's going to have to win this Royal Rumble to get his shot, basically, at McIntyre. He's going to have to win this to go on to WrestleMania to, get his Undisputed title back. He's going to need to win this to, win it for the third time. He's won it twice. If he wins tomorrow, he's going on for the third time. Then we would see Mr. Three Most Dangerous Letters in the freaking WWE, RKO, Randy Orton, make his way down to the ring from there. He would just tell Cody, he respects him. That's already obvious. We're pretty much just brothers at this point. So that's obvious. Comes out there, says that. But then he talks a little bit about Cody, kind of says that, I know more than anybody that a desperate Cody Rhodes is a vicious Cody Rhodes. It's a dangerous Cody. So and obviously, Cody's desperate. He kind of needs to win this. He does need to win this, to get his shot for the Undisputed title. So, but then Randy would say that, nothing's more dangerous though than, the Three Most Dangerous Letters, RKO. Then we would kind of pump the brakes with Randy there, because then we would see Jey Uso make his way down. I know Jey Uso, I was kind of a bit shocked that Jey Uso was actually come out on SmackDown tonight. So Jey Uso would come down, gets his little segment out of the way, kind of like just pretty much what everybody else wanted. I'm gonna come down there. I respect all of you, but you guys got to understand that it's gonna be tomorrow. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. I'm gonna win the Rumble. I'm gonna win it for the second time. I'm gonna win it back to frickin' back. And then we would see yet another superstar come down to the ring, that being Sami Zayn, who tomorrow night does face Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed Champion, and probably Sami Zayn's, biggest match of his career, but I don't know, maybe it is biggest match of his career. But anyways, he makes his way down to the ring as well, and then he pretty much talks about his match tomorrow, as mentioned. So he says that tomorrow leads into 3 main points. One of them being that, well, he's never ever lost a match in Riyadh, and he does not plan changing that tomorrow. Also, he has never beaten McIntyre. He's currently, I believe it was 12-0 against McIntyre, and then also, this is his time to get what he's, what's been alluding to him, that being the Undisputed WWE Champion. So pretty much just, expressing his thoughts on on what he's going to do tomorrow, what's going to happen tomorrow, and pretty much just putting his, locking in what he's going to do for tomorrow, letting everybody know, letting the fans know, letting know what tomorrow just exactly means to Sami Zayn, and what it needs to mean for the rest of us, the fans. So then from there, we would also see the entirety of the Vision come out, including Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman would talk. They'd kind of be up there on the entrance stage, and they would just say, or Paul Heyman would pretty much just say, down in the ring, he sees, 4 men that are not going to win the Rumble, or that are, that don't have any chance of winning. But here at the top, here I see a vision for all of these men. So says he pretty much just, saying that the Vision is going to win tomorrow. There's no shot that, the men down in the ring, Jey Uso, Sammy, Cody, and Randy, they don't have a shot at getting anything tomorrow. They don't have a shot, of becoming any better, but the Vision, including, most importantly, Braun Breaker, everybody's going to know tomorrow that Braun Breaker is going to be your 2026 Royal Rumble winner. It's pretty much just, laying it out. But then we would see Randy Orton Randy tell Paul Heyman, shut your fat mouth. I'm tired of you running your freaking mouth. How about you guys get your asses down here and we have a good old Saudi Arabian freaking ass kicking match, basically. So it would get announced that Nick Aldis would come out, and it is officially confirmed. We will get an 8-man tag match between all the members of the Vision, so Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. In the main event tonight, it will be them versus Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton, man. Gonna be an absolute banger of a match, man. Cannot wait for that one. So stick around to the end of the video to be able to, get my full thoughts and review on that. But good ass freaking opener here. Really enjoyed this. Really great energy from the fans. Really great stuff said by all these men. Jey Uso's kind of thing was a bit, usual, as pretty much just kind of the usual stuff. But still, everything combined made this opener absolutely amazing. Tomorrow's gonna be so freaking awesome, man. But gonna really hoping that match in the main event is going to be freaking amazing, which I know it will be. So, like I said, stick around to the end. We'll get to that match, and you guys will get a full review on that. But overall, solid opener here. Great opener as a matter of fact. And yeah, that's all you really got to know here. Our next stop of the night would take us to the usual Men's United States Open Challenge. Walking in as champion, obviously going to be Carmelo Hayes, and he would defend tonight against Rey Fenix. Obviously, banger match, man. You're always getting freaking heat out of these United States Open Challenge matches. They're always so freaking good. Yes, some are better than others, but it doesn't matter on any scale. All of these matches are always so freaking awesome. Definitely one of the main highlights of every SmackDown, or just all the SmackDowns in general, the recent weeks and months. Nothing different here tonight. Like I said, great freaking match between these two tonight. I still say that I forgot who the guy's name was, but it was Carmelo, and I forgot the other guy's name. I believe he's in TNA, but it was a few weeks ago. I still think that was like the greatest the best United States Open Challenge, at least from Carmelo Hayes. Very freaking awesome match. I just forgot the guy's name. I believe he tagged with Javon Evans at a recent show. I'm blanking so freaking hard. I believe it was at John Cena's farewell Saturday night's main event. Javon Evans did tag with him to go up against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, whoever that guy was. Definitely my favorite United States Open Challenge match that we've had for Carmelo Hayes. But still tonight, great freaking match. But at the end of the day, Carmelo would get it done. He would hit the first 48, go to the top, nothing but net, and then case would be closed on Rey Fenix, and Melo does move on, still your United States champion. So good stuff from both superstars tonight, but at the end of the day, Melo's just the better superstar. He comes out on top of this United States Open Challenge tonight. Nothing that we didn't expect. I definitely expected Carmelo to win this. Definitely did not expect Rey Fenix to win, not gonna lie. But yeah, great stuff here. Great match overall. Great stuff all the way around. Like I said, Carmelo Hayes still your United States champion. Right now we move on to Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. So they'd come out, make their entrance, make their way into the ring, and pretty much they would also be having their sights set on the Rumble. Obviously tonight they are obviously allies, but tomorrow they're going to be frenemies because they are both going to be in that Rumble. So Charlotte does start it off saying that pretty much her plan, saying that I'm going to win that Rumble tomorrow, all with my best friend Alexa Bliss by my side, and I'm going to go on to WrestleMania and dedicate my entire victory to her. And then Alexa Bliss from there would obviously contradict that, saying that I had the same plan, Charlotte. Charlotte would be like, I knew you were on my back. I knew you had my back, because she's obviously thinking that she had the same plan as Charlotte, seeing as Charlotte would gets the victory for the Rumble. But Alexa obviously says that she actually had herself planned to win and go all the way on to WrestleMania. And then we would just kind of get a debate back and forth, kind of them just questioning their, not really their friendship, just what each other would do to each other in the Rumble. So like Charlotte says, so if I turn my back, you would throw me over. And then Alexa's kind of like, what would you do the same for me to me type of thing. And then from there we would see the Judgment Day girls come out. So Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez, they would come out and pretty much just say, well, it's funny, the two friends down there are arguing, debating, pretty much just having an argument. We're up here focusing on winning, and we actually have our plan. So then from there we would see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair say, you guys want to fight type of thing, let's fight basically. So then they would come down, they would start walking down there. Liv Morgan, Raquel, and Roxanne, they would start walking down to the ring. Then Liv Morgan would say, "Psych, we're not doing that tonight. Not on our watch." Then they would make their way back up to the entrance ramp, and then we would see Nick Aldis come out, make the match official. So any two of the three of either Roxanne, Raquel, or Liv, two of those three women will tonight. Actually in the next clip we're going to be talking about that match, will face Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So that will be next. So really nothing crazy here, just kind of showing that just like every year, tag teams that are going into the Royal Rumble obviously are going to have to put that friendship aside, and kind of be frenemies. So kind of just the same, thing that we can already expect. And then obviously we are going to get a women's tag match in the next clip. We're going to be mentioning all about that, so get my full review on that. So yeah, that's really all you got to know here. All right, now as mentioned, we would jump into Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus two of the Judgment Day Girl members, which would be, for this match, would be Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Overall, decent match, man, but we're going to jump right to the end of this match, man. We get to the end, we would see Stephanie Vauquer come out, take out Raquel Rodriguez. That would, obviously allow Alexa Bliss to get the advantage on Roxanne Perez, deliver the Twisted Bliss, or the Sister Abigail DDT move that she does. 1, 2, 3, match is over. So Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair do win this match here. What does this mean for them? Really nothing, man. I guess it just kind of proves that they're going in stronger to the Rumble, more stronger than obviously, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. That's really all this match really does for them. Other than that, really doesn't do too much else. Overall, decent match though. Really nothing super crazy, but also not that bad of a match either. So overall, decent stuff from all these women, but that's really all you really got to know here. All right, now we would jump into Axiom versus Johnny Gargano. Obviously, Johnny Gargano still having possession of Axiom's mask. Axiom still trying to get it back. Did he get it back in this match? That's what we're going to talk about here. So, first, as far as the overall match, I think the match was freaking good. I think the match was very freaking good, actually. I think, these men do great work together in the ring, great chemistry, great stuff all the way around as far as the, in-ring match goes. But if we're just talking storyline, I mentioned this last week, and I'm pretty sure, in previous weeks, I just really don't care for this feud. It's pretty much just, Axiom's mask gets stolen and he needs to get it back. I just can't really grasp my hands, or grasp myself, or bring myself to really like and enjoy this feud as far as storylines go. I just can't, man. I just don't understand. I just really think it's, kind of just lame, and you're probably going to say, well, not all storylines can be for belts. And that's true. That's absolutely true. And I acknowledge that 100%, but it's at the same time, it's like, there's still feuds that are not for titles that I do enjoy. It's just this one in particular I just don't really care for, what they're trying to base it off of. But as far as storyline, man, I just really don't care. And luckily I think it did officially come to an end tonight, so hopefully we can get some better stuff. I know some people still did like this feud. I really didn't though, but it would seem like the feud would come to an end tonight, because at the end of the match we would see Johnny Gargano rip off Axiom's mask, but the other mask would also be out there that was taken originally, and then Axiom would be able to put that on, and then Johnny Gargano's kind of distracted with Nathan Frazier on the outside, who is Axiom's partner. Then he would turn around and then he would get hit with by Axiom. Axiom gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. He gets possession of both masks, and Axiom does win, and he gets his mask back. So I think the feud's over, man. I think this feud is over for sure. He put the mask on that was originally taken and beat Johnny Gargano, who did take the mask. So definitely this feud is 100% over. So I personally, like I said, really didn't care for it, man. Really just not a big fan of what they were trying to build for it, or what it was based off of, about the whole mask situation. I personally just didn't care for that. But like I said, that doesn't storyline, and how it, how the storyline plays out does not take away from the actual match itself as far as, in-ring goes. Like I said, this match, great in-ring freaking, abilities from both of these men throughout this entire match. So I'm not going to hate on that at all. So as far as match goes, very good match. But as far as storyline, I'm personally glad it's over, because I want these superstars to move on to bigger and better things other than just this. So hopefully we'll see what these superstars do move on to. But as far as this feud goes, glad it's over. I personally just didn't care for it. All right, now we would jump into a very short segment between AJ Styles and Gunther. So AJ Styles would come out first. He would talk, obviously about his match tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble. His career is on the line tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble against Gunther. So pretty much telling the audience in the WWE Universe that, if any of you guys are worried, if any of us are worried, not to worry because he's got this one in the bag. And I'm not going to lie, that's really pretty much all he says. I mean, before we actually do see Gunther come out. So Gunther would come out, get on the announcer's table, and pretty much tells, AJ, like he's been telling him the past few weeks, tomorrow night he's going to do what he did to his best friend John Cena. He's going to make him tap out in the middle of that ring. And then AJ Styles would come back and say, well, last time I checked, Gunther, you were the one that tapped out first, and I made you tap out like a little bitch. That gets Gunther infuriated. So then Gunther would get on the apron, but he would not fight AJ. He would not fully get into the ring, and he would back down. And then that was it, man. So literally just everything that we've been seeing these guys, say to each other over the past few weeks, really no difference here. It's pretty much just last minute tension before we get to the Royal Rumble in just less than 24 hours. So that's really all you got to know here, man. Not much else to say here, and yeah, that's really all you got to know. All right, and next up we would jump into Ilya Dragunov versus The Miz. Gotta be honest, I really was not paying too much attention to this match, man. There was just so much bigger things to really look forward to. This match literally only came about because, The Miz freaking helped, Carmelo Hayes last week in his United States Open Challenge match between Ilya Dragunov. He pushed off Ilya off the top rope. That allowed Melo to take the advantage. That's literally the only reason we got to this match, man. I really was not paying attention pretty much for most of the time, so I really can't speak too much on this match. And I feel like a lot of people could really argue the same, man. I mean, it's just like one of those matches where it's like, hey, Ilya Dragunov versus The Miz. I mean, it's like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, I feel like it's just this was really just one of those matches. So, yeah, I mean, I really can't speak for this one too much. Pretty much all I know, obviously, your winner was Ilya Dragunov. Kind of expected. There's really no way The Miz wins. I mean, The Miz pretty much hardly wins matches anymore, and tonight was no different. So, really, just one of those matches where it's like we have so much bigger things to look forward to, like the main event of tonight, and tomorrow at the Royal Rumble. Like, this is just one of those matches right now where it's just like it really doesn't matter, man. I'm gonna be honest. So really wasn't paying too much attention here, and like I said, I feel like a lot of people could argue the same thing, man. So yeah, I mean, that's really all you got to know. I mean, really my only thoughts here. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys felt about this one, but I feel like it was just kind of one of those matches where it's like, I mean, I just really don't care, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But now let's move on to our main event of the night. All right, we have now made it to our main event of the night, and it was the 8-man tag match. On one side, it would be all the members of the Vision, and then on the other side, it would be Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Jay freaking Uso. Match freaking was absolutely amazing, man. This match wouldn't even, start as soon as possible, man, because even before Cody Rhodes could even get out there, the Vision would jump in and start attacking Randy, Sammy, and Jay, but then Cody would come out, and then everybody would just start brawling, man. So pretty much just a taste before tomorrow's Rumble. But then the match would finally get started, man. Things would get underway. But either way, throughout the entire match, man, this match still very freaking chaotic, in multiple different ways, man. So overall, good freaking match, solid freaking main event here tonight, man. Overall, great freaking stuff from each superstar, man. Definitely, continuing to just set up this fucking Royal Rumble for tomorrow for the men's side, man. The men's Royal Rumble is going to be absolutely insane, man. I cannot wait. Definitely way more excited for that one than I am obviously the women's, not gonna lie, but that's kind of WWE's fault, not gonna lie. But man, this match absolutely amazing. So we'd get to the end, man. This match would not even end in a winner, because Drew McIntyre would come out as Sami Zayn was about to pick up the win for his team. He would attack Sami. That would get the whole match disqualified, matches off, and then and then there would be a point where McIntyre gets his hands on Cody. He's about to deliver a Claymore kick, but then Sami Zayn would come back in, deliver a Helluva kick to Drew McIntyre. Goodbye to McIntyre. Then the undisputed title is right there, right beneath Sam, right at Sammy's feet, man. He bends down. First he stares at it, then he bends down to pick it up. But then who meets him there? It is Cody Rhodes, and they both hold the title at the same time, kind of like this is mine or this is mine, kind of that type of thing. And then we would see at the end Braun Breaker come in and then deliver a spear, and he would stand tall over everybody. So will that be the same case tomorrow in the Royal Rumble for Braun Breaker? We'll see. Will it be Sami Zayn becoming the new undisputed WWE champion? It all happens tomorrow, man. This match, absolutely killer, man. Freaking love this match, man. Absolutely amazing. Sets up so much for tomorrow's Royal Rumble, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the Rumble, man. It's going to be very interesting, man. A lot to happen at the Royal Rumble, I expect, man, but overall, solid main event here. All right, well, it is going to conclude this Ringside Roundup on this week's episode of Smackdown, man. As far as this week's episode of Smackdown, man, I think this week's episode of Smackdown was actually pretty freaking good, man. It sets up so much for what's to happen possibly at Royal Rumble tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, man. I'm going to be doing a full review and breakdown on that, so stay tuned for that video coming out tomorrow on the channel. Don't know exactly when, but it'll most likely be out sometime or relatively quickly right after the Rumble, just like how I get these videos out right after each WWE show, man. So stay tuned for that on the channel, man. But this episode of Smackdown, absolutely freaking amazing in my opinion. Really enjoyed this one. But as always, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, you want to see more wrestling content, and if you want to support your boy, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications so you never miss an upload. Go follow the socials. You can find links to those in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account. It's all that helps me a ton. Remember, catch the Rumble on the channel, man. Full review coming out tomorrow, and I'll catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace.